you've ever wondered what actually happens during a concrete pour, this is it from start to finish. And we did this pour in Lockport, Louisiana, which is about 3 hours from our location here in Iowa. To move the concrete to the back of the slab, the finishers create a temporary trough. We get questions all the time, why do we need a trough? You'll see here there's no way for the concrete to reach the back unless there is a trough. So it allows the concrete to flow where it needs to go without driving equipment across the forms or the prepared base. It's a common and effective method that protects the site while keeping the pour consistent from front to back. A lot of people are familiar with rebar, so that's usually what they expect to see. But for our slabs, we have a little different system that we use. Instead of traditional rebar, Mallet Buildings uses reinforced microfiber mixed directly into the concrete. Those fibers are distributed throughout the entire slab, so reinforcement is present everywhere and not just in one layer. As the concrete cures and naturally shrinks, the microfiber helps control movement and reduce cracking. Unlike steel, it doesn't rust or corrode, and it can't shift during the pour. It works together with proper prep and finishing to create a slab that performs consistently over time. That's why this is the system we use at Mallet Buildings.
So what the Mallet cable lock system does, it connects post to post around the entire building using 1/8 inch aircraft cable that's fastened to eye bolts at the base of each post. This, coupled with the concrete poured on top and the moisture barrier underneath, creates a perfect system called the Mallet cable lock system.
I'm here to inspect the concrete pour, and so I'm here to make sure that the concrete is done completely according to specs, that the owner is happy with not only the concrete, but the finish on the concrete, so that he can be happy with his concrete slab.
So you'll notice that there's an inspector on site during the pour. This one happens to be Mr. Glenn Duhan, and his role is to verify that the slab design, reinforcement system, and installation all match the approved plans, meet code, and make sure that the customer is happy. Inspections like this are not optional if you're going to be held to the same standard as Mallet Buildings, and they're something that we fully support. Once the concrete arrives, the pour starts in a controlled sequence. The concrete is placed in stages rather than all at once, which you will see there are a ton of concrete trucks that come through here. This helps maintain consistent thickness and prevents shifting or uneven areas. What you're watching here is how we pour slabs at Mallet Buildings with the owner on site and an inspector present to verify everything is done correctly. If you ever wondered what actually happens during a concrete pour, this is it. This slab is designed specifically for a post frame building in Louisiana. So before the pour ever starts, the building footprint, door locations, and final elevations are all laid out and checked. Those measurements determine how the building will sit, how the doors will function, and how water sheds away from the structure. The forms you see here control the final shape and height of the slab. Everything is set to a specific elevation, and those elevations are checked before the concrete arrives. Once the pour starts, there's no adjusting this, which is why this step is so important. So concrete has a working window. It needs to be placed, leveled, and finished at the right time, not too early and not too late. The finishers are constantly adjusting based on temperature, moisture, and how the concrete is reacting, especially down here in the south. Grading is what levels the slab and sets the final surface elevation. This step ensures that the slab is flat, uniform, and properly sloped where needed. Door areas receive extra attention because even small elevation issues can cause problems later. Finishing is really where the experience shows, so the surface is worked carefully to create a durable finish that will cure properly. Rushing this stage can weaken the surface, which is why it's done very methodically. Having the owner on site allows them to see exactly how the slab is poured and finished. Questions can be addressed in real time and expectations stay aligned throughout the process. That transparency is very intentional because we want our customers 100% satisfied. As the pour wraps up, final checks are made to confirm elevations, finish quality, and overall layout. At this point, the slab is left to cure properly, which is just as important as the pour itself. When most people start looking at a post frame or metal building, the first things they notice are the size, the price, and how it looks from the outside. What usually doesn't get talked about right away is how the building is actually put together, and that's really what determines how it performs long term. And if you're from the South, you know how important it is to be able to withstand a hurricane, and that's the part that we focus on at Mallet Buildings. We've been building post frame structures for over 26 years, and over that time we've seen what works, what doesn't, and where the problems usually start. Most issues don't come from one big mistake, they come from a lot of shortcuts. We offer 3 building levels, which are the Classic, Signature, and Elite, so customers can choose the level of features and warranty coverage that makes sense for how they'll use the building. But regardless of the tier, the core structure is built the same way. The framing is one of the biggest differences. We use tighter spacing on girts and purlins, deeper post embedment, and engineered truss systems designed for real loads, not just minimum requirements, and we actually manufacture those trusses here in-house in our site in Louisiana. Materials play a big role too. We use painted steel panels backed by manufacturer warranties, and we protect the areas of the buildings that are most exposed to moisture and ground contact. Those aren't things you always notice on day one, but they matter years down the road. We're also very open about our process. Owners are welcome on site, inspections are encouraged, and questions are handled as the work is happening. The transparency helps everyone stay on the same page. From permitting and design approval to material delivery, framing, and concrete, we follow a clear step-by-step process, and our customers always know what stage their project is in and what comes next. We also stand behind our work. Our workmanship warranties are tied to the level of building you choose. A lot of customers come to us after talking to other builders, because once they understand the differences in construction details, materials, and overall process, they can see where the real value is. If you're considering a post frame building and want to understand what you're really getting, not just square footage or floor plan, we are always happy to explain it, and that's how we do things at Mallet Buildings.